Welcome to the Daily Stampede Film Room. Collin Sherwin alongside Nathan Bond, Anthony Vito, and our super genius Seth Varnadore. We are here to break down USF's first win against a non-FCS or UConn opponent in 330 some days. So big win, good win for the confidence of the program. I watched the second half with Seth up there in the box and Nate, and we both said, coming down the stretch there, it looked like they were able to hang around and stay in it, and it looked like they were just clipping away, and they got a couple of breaks. They got the missed field goal, and then they got the fumbled punt that really made all the difference, and they took advantage. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Again, this is presented by Matrix Hormones, matrixhormones.com, 813-333-2226. Again, that's 813-333-2226, 3 field goals, 3 safeties, 1 touchdown, no PAT. That's kind of where you go to get, sorry, I'm like distracted here because I got something here. That's where you go to figure out what's wrong and get your vitality back, just like the Bulls did this weekend against BYU. Get your confidence back. Start feeling like yourself again. Start feeling like you did maybe 3 years ago and 4 years ago. Just bring it back the way it should. So again, Matrix Hormones, 813-333-2226. And with that terrible introduction, I will turn my cell phone over so it doesn't distract me, and Seth, rock and roll.
This is a third down on the first drive. Just want to kind of mix in some early game stuff. This is one of the sacks early that I think holds them to the field goal in the first drive here. So that's Greer that ends up with a sack. But again, just what they've done a really good job the last couple weeks is just good design on these plays. So let it go slow. So he's right here. He's going to come across the face of the center, trying to occupy him. These two are going to be out here occupying the eyes of the guard and tackle. So you really got these 3 on these 3, but you're hoping I can take up 1 to 2 here with this guy outside. BYU doesn't do a bad job. They send the back up the middle to pick up the pressure, but watch Greer here do a really good job with his rush. First of all, he blows the back backwards about 3 yards and then does a great spin off of him for the sack. And that's another one where great design leaves them with their center right here, not blocking anybody while you get the sack right behind him. So that was a good design on third down. And kind of the other thing of it is, I'm pretty sure this is Reeves right here. He was up on the edge. So you have that threat of him coming off the edge too. He's kind of walking around right here, and then he ends up kind of dropping back into coverage. So if they tried to go hot with like a slant or something right here, he would be in the throw window. So really good design early for a pivotal sack that stopped a BYU drive and held them to a field goal. So next is kind of first play of the offense of the entire game. This is a scheme they run a ton, and this is one I thought they really missed early, and it's a matchup I would take, and I think you guys tell me what you think. But it's going to be that snag. I call it snag, but some area guys call it Y corner. Then flare. What you're going to end up getting is you're going to get Mitch Wilcox one-on-one with a safety running a corner out. I'd take that all day. Are you guys in agreement there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So this is the first play of the game, and you hit this, and he breaks a tackle. It's a touchdown. Not a bad decision here. The corners here coming inside with the snag route. He's staying inside too. So you have the back there, but the protection's pretty good here. I'd kind of wait.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you have all that space right there for your big tight end, and he's going to run a good route and give you space there to throw it. Now, this isn't a bad decision here either, because he can catch it on the run with some space. Just got to give him a little better ball. Kind of tries to aim it, throws it behind him. And I don't know if they want him staying flat. Sometimes you'll teach this guy just stay flat down the line, because the closer you get upfield, the closer you're going to get to this guy that can just crush you. I've seen backs come up and they catch it here and then get smoked, and they're like, what happened? Well, if you stay flat on your track, you have more space. But ball's a little behind him, or maybe the back drifts, but for whatever reason, the ball falls incomplete here. But if it is complete, at worst, you have him one-on-one, and the way he ran on Saturday, again, that's probably a really good play to start the game, but it goes down as an incompletion. So this is kind of the reason the offense bogged down early. It's just simple stuff like this. I would have maybe taken the shot to the corner out, but this isn't a bad read right here, but just a better throw or better route. And if they're able to hook that up, he makes him miss or breaks that tackle, and now he's got the sideline. So
you usually say that you want your quarterback to work back to front, so you want him to take the longer read first and then try and track down to that check down.
Yeah, usually go deep to short. Yeah, typically. So I don't know what he didn't like about it. He may have just seen, all this stay inside and just be like, all right, I can get out of my hands right now. Maybe he was thinking that, but I'd kind of wait for that thing to develop and let him run his route. And if you throw it with good timing, he's going to kind of body that guy up. So
it seems to be like a reoccurring theme this year with Jordan and kind of hitting the backs out of the backfield, or like in those middle crossing routes. As you said, he's aiming instead of just kind of throwing it to him. Yeah. And that doesn't really work out too well for him so far. I know he's kind of airmailed a couple like screen passes and checkdowns. I guess one of those young guy things where you kind of got to be able to, even though it's a short pass, you still have to set your feet and follow through with the ball.
Yeah,
Quentin syndrome.
Sometimes that takes time to kind of get everything in sync totally. But this could be one where, like I said, sometimes the coaching point is to have the back stay flat. So maybe he was thinking he's going to stay flat and he started climbing. I'm not sure exactly how they're teaching it, so I can't say definitively one way or the other. But a ball that's on him gives him a chance to do something with it. I think we can all say that definitively. So that's just a simple mistake, a little bit better throw on first down, and you probably pick up a good gain. And then you get a penalty on the next play, and you're behind the sticks. So this is a third down, not on this drive, but a drive later. And so they're just going to run like a simple, slant flat, it looks like. And he's this isn't a bad idea to try to fit it in the second window here, especially if you're not sure what he's doing. But he could also, if you see this guy, and it's hard to see, you're kind of looking through this area. But if you can see the corner running with the receiver there, and he just drops it out here to the back, that's an easy conversion, and now you're getting him the ball in some space to run.
Right.
So this is again a third down that's probably not too difficult of a conversion, and it's not a bad decision either. Just maybe a little bit better ball, but that's going to be a tougher throw than that one.
Is this a spot to check to a run with those? With numbers back there, and it's not really super numbers. It's 6 on 6 in the box if you count the back.
I don't know. Not. This is a situation where they could have, I know in the past they've had checks. Maybe you could check a bubble here with the 2-on-2 there, but he kind of has what he wants backside here. Especially, right. I think he's thinking pre-snap that it's a one high, so they're thinking they may have it where it's split field, where if it's like two high, maybe I work this side. If it's a one high, I have a one high concept back here for either 3 or 2. So here you got safety in the middle of the field. He may be thinking it's a one high coverage. So I have kind of one safety dead in the middle. So he's thinking maybe I'm getting 3 where he's going to bail, and then I'm just reading him. But then at the snap, he rolls up. So the snap when he comes up, that kind of changes the calculus. So that it could be something as simple as that, where they just kind of disguise the coverage. So he worked back here, and there is a kind of a window here, second window, but this is the one. I mean, that would be kind of real easy right there.
I think the theme of maybe some of these misses is maybe a young guy just not trusting the process on these plays and kind of either forcing it or just completely missing the reads. And I think it was Charlie. I think he said it after the game on Saturday or Monday. It's kind of all blurring that there's a lot of missed opportunities, just kind of hitting down the field.
Yeah, this just looked like, to me, this like back. I mean, we talked about back to front. The last one he didn't go back front. This one he has a good pocket on both of these, by the way. Like he's not under any kind of significant pressure. And this is probably, hit the check down or, if you're going to slip it in there, slip it in there.
And this could be as simple as like, pre-snap, I see one high. So I'm thinking with the way he's off one high, I'm thinking it's cover 3. So this guy's my read. So as soon as the ball snapped, he sees him widen a little bit, right? So he widens a little bit. So he's thinking, okay, I'm coming to this slant in this window right here. And now he widens a little bit, but it's not 3. It's something else. So instead of flying out, he kind of gets back underneath. So it could have just been as simple as that, where they kind of disguised the coverage well, and he just didn't see them roll late. And so if it's cover 3, he's making a right read, but it's they disguised it to something else. So it could be that simple, where it's just that. And that's, not necessarily a bad decision. It's just something with more experience, you'll be able to tell and, kind of see, he's one high, but then you have this guy kind of playing here. So unless he's rolled down, you may get a blitz from there. But if he's kind of playing that deep, you may get some kind of rotation. So this is why some coaches like to teach to read the weak side safety. So 3x1's here, so the weak side safety will be there. Because his rotation will kind of tell you what's going on. But I think so that's something that there's probably a first down to be picked up, and instead they go 3 and out. I thought this was an important play to put on. This is 2nd and goal. You see the score here is 10-0. We showed a few weeks ago against SMU, these guys weren't communicating, and were on the same level. But even worse than being on the same level, they weren't really communicating with each other. Here you can see them talking the entire time about looking for picks, I'd imagine. So this is a tough concept to defend because they're not bringing number 3 out. They're bringing the back out. So he's coming out to the flat, and they're really just trying to pick there. And they do a pretty good job. They communicate this right now. You can see he's talking to him right now. So they do a pretty good job. And then he comes up and makes a play for a minus here when that's what could have been an easy walking touchdown to go up 17-0. The safety does a good job of just triggering, making this throw happen fast. And the corner does a great job of stepping up and making the play.
How's that not an illegal block?
Well, I'll show you the one later. You show me which one.
Look at it.
I'll show you.
You can't. I mean, that's a receiver that's a defender that's not in the box. I mean, it's a bit of a push, but there's contact there, and he's running him off the play before the ball's thrown. Like that's
more of a play than the 2-point conversion.
Now this is thrown. I think if the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, it's like a screen, so you can block. So that's probably what saves it here. But yeah, this is much worse, much more egregious than what happens later on. Because this guy's literally just coming in here to block.
So Seth, I have a question.
Yes.
In one of the previous film rooms, you mentioned you don't want to have the corners on the same plane.
Yeah.
If you started this, are they on the same plane again? Well, I guess
they're close, but I think the key here is that they're talking to each other. You can see them right here. They're kind of looking at each other, communicating. So I think they're kind of ready for this a little bit more. And I don't know exactly what kind of coverage they're playing because as soon as he goes inside, the corner just kind of sits. He knows something else is coming out here. So this may not be.
Hampton's like, all right, I've got the outside, whatever it is, that I'm staying here because he broke inside.
So he's
not my guy anymore.
He kind of pedals and loses ground a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit, and that allows him to just drive on anything in front of him. And then he makes a
heck of a play
tackle.
right here.
Yeah, great tackle.
Like...
And that saves 4 points. And what was the winning margin?
4.
There you go. All right, so here's the play they ended up calling a timeout on. I went ahead and did the job of counting up.
Your writing is beautiful.
It's hard with this mouse, but yes, this is
I think I called this from you. I was in the stands in this end zone.
Yeah, you said there's either
10 on the last play or there's 12 on this play.
Yeah, so you wanted to look at this, but that's what it was, and so they called a timeout. And again, you don't want to have to take this timeout, but it's a good timeout by the coaching staff. A penalty puts the ball even closer here, and now you have them to 3rd and goal. You have a chance to get off the field here. So even if you didn't have the 12 men on the field, it's not a terrible time to call a timeout because this is a pivotal time in the game. You're down 10 with 9 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah, but the
chaos it can really get away from you here. Yes.
Sure. I mean, to call the timeout here, sure, but don't put yourself in the situation in the first place because it was chaos watching these guys running in and out and goal line.
And that's something I wouldn't imagine you'll see that much this week because when I did ask Coach Strong a question on Monday, he kind of said we want to make sure we get lined up. So if the key is making sure you're lined up, so you guys know their responsibilities, they don't get creased. Hopefully you won't see that kind of running in and out like you did last week because that was the only thing I've seen this year that's kind of really annoyed me is running guys in and out without even personnel changes. Now, I think it's kind of depending on the field position, and they kind of move the ball down a little bit. But that was you don't want to get caught with something like this. But luckily, whoever's in the box, whoever's counting them up, gave them the number, and they were able to call the timeout. But yeah, you'd obviously like to not have to take one here. So that's that. There's 12. He was pissed. I don't know if they called it on TV, but he was not happy. So here we go. So this is the touchdown drive. This is early in the touchdown drive. So we talked about last week I think we talked about in the film room, maybe on the podcast as well. And then I mentioned it in my preview that you may see some 12 personnel. So 12 personnel is just one back and 2 tight ends. So here's your one back. Here's your 2 tight ends. He's functionally like a fullback, but H-back, but this is a tight end. So right here, I think this is going to be power right here. So power, we're going to be down blocking, down, 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 back to him, kick out, and then we're pulling up for kind of the first thing in the hole here. Check the gap seal, hinge back. So power, great 3rd and short play. A lot of people call it God's play because it's just especially the O-line coaches call it God's play because it's really just about coming off the football and hitting the dude in front of you. You got down blocks, you got good angles, you got a big guy pulling for a linebacker. It's kind of all about physicality, and I thought they ran it really well. So we'll let it run through full speed here. And if the guard was a little. If the guard's a little quicker here, this may be a touchdown. But it was executed pretty perfectly right here, especially with them trying to add a bunch of dudes to the front late. This is a really good job. So there's the kind of the diagram. So watch the front side. It looks like front side here is just.
Who's that guard? Is that
Demetrius Harris?
Who's that? Demetrius Harris, okay. Yeah, it's Harris pulling, and it looks like if he just gets in front and hits the right guy, or do you also want your back to be a little more patient there? Do you want Kronk to maybe wait a little bit?
Maybe, but I think what he's probably thinking is it's 3rd and 2. I'm just going to get the first down. If it was 2nd and 5 or something, maybe he kind of wait. But this is one where it's really close to just popping. But this is like perfect front side here. You're hoping to down block and then get one of these guys off to the backer. Like that's if you can do that, that's exactly what you want. They do
And,
enough to stalemate up here. And you remember earlier in the year when they were trying to pull guys and these guys were getting run into by penetration? Well, here we're kind of stalemating, and this is big dudes up here for BYU. They were not small up front. So a stalemate here, and you get your guard free, and very close to popping this.
That's a very large hole.
Here, yeah, it is. One of the keys here is tight end, the H-back Jacob Mathis. Last year, he was unplayable. He could not block to save his life. And you'll see throughout this entire game his progression as a solid run blocker. Him and Mitch kind of had a field day on Saturday, and that's kind of what I think Charlie kind of expected from Mathis when he transferred from Ole Miss. Maybe not as prolific as a pass catcher. I mean, he's got good hands. We saw it last week and this week as well. But his run blocking has improved tenfold. I mean, and I think that's kind of key. You can't run 12 personnel if your second tight end can't block. And I think that was the key for the rest of the game is, okay, we've got two tight ends we can keep on the field the entire time and do some pretty good damage.
And I think that's going to be something you see as the season goes on. This is kind of where people are starting to turn to now that everyone has gone to spread. And especially in this conference, a lot of the teams are 11 personnel or even some 10 personnel teams. I don't think there's a ton of 12 personnel teams in this conference. So that may be something they can use as the season progresses to kind of get an edge on teams that may not see this very much.
This is like straight out of the Willie Taggart 2013 playbook right here, except they'd have two shifts and three motions before the snap. But this is just, Willie ran power, out of a two tight end set all the time.
Yeah.
So, shout out Joe Kinnan.
This is like old school football right here. And then right there you see that's close to going for a lot more than three, but good enough to pick up the first down. They move the chains. Then here's another one later on. I think this is outside zone. So in the preview, I showed Tennessee kind of getting in a similar look, this 12 personnel with a wing tight end. And you see and I talked about this gap that's right here. And he's inside the tight end is how they like to play it. So I thought outside zone may make a comeback, but they hadn't been running it very well previously, if you guys kind of recall. We talked about outside zone, but for whatever reason, it hadn't been working. I think this is Sands back there at back, and he does a really good job running it. And this is really, really good. This may even be the one that Coach Darvo shared after the game. I think he shared like a picture from the end zone view where there was a gaping hole.
A great run.
Well, this is really
I remember
good.
Seeing that.
Now watch. What's key here is I think the big difference, and this is something I talked about earlier in the year about getting comfortable with it. Earlier in the year, he's reaching him. So everyone's kind of we're hoping to reach, right? It's kind of a wide zone play. He could probably leave him. I'm not sure they may lock him. But what's happened a lot early in the season is this guy was just flying upfield. And if I lose a matchup inside, now I'm in trouble. This is something where you just get more comfortable with this scheme. So watch, I think this is Adebayo right here, who Charlie pointed out and said he had probably one of his best games ever. Watch him. He goes with it. He's not too fast. And now he comes off with a good angle.
Yeah.
And now you're one-on-one with the safety. You make him miss. Somebody else ends up tackling you from behind. But this is real. This is like clinic footage. This is really well done right here. And this is something 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago they were not very good at.
You've talked a lot about Darvo and how you think he can coach him up and get this line better.
Yeah.
That's serious improvement. I understand BYU is 83 and S&P, and this isn't like a monster win, but they are big up front, and that
they weren't.
I don't think we see this too.
They weren't doing this to South Carolina State.
No,
Right.
Billy is now that
For
dude's
sure.
father.
Yeah.
I mean, he pushes him back 7 yards.
Yes.
He is
Yeah,
now his
that's
dad.
great.
And so
Billy
here's
is
the
now 25's daddy.
very next play. Same thing. Now the back makes kind of hits it in a different spot, but it's the same play. It's just the running zone again.
Right.
Tries to slant across face. He just takes him out. If the back is, sometimes guys will teach read this helmet. Kind of the first guy outside the center, play side. If you're reading his helmet right here, and he tries to slant, the guard does a good job against Atterbury just dumping him. And then there's a gigantic hole there because everybody else does their job pretty well.
Those are some big boys, and they just got pushed around on that play. Like that's really good line play. I've been the most skeptical about this line all season, but that's just fantastic get off and push.
Again, Billy Atterbury is now 25's daddy. We cannot emphasize this enough.
I think that's I think that one's Cecil.
Is that Cecil?
Yeah, so watch. I think he slants, so that causes the back to cut back. Atterbury just kind of dumps him. And then this is encouraging. This is encouraging to see too. He reaches this guy pretty easily, and now the center can go. And this is kind of. So the center steps, he sees that guy slanted, so he's gone. BYU tries to run a stunt, like a run stunt here, where he's going to try to take up these two and he'll fit back in, but they pass it off really good here. The guard picks up the stunt. Here's the center coming for the backer, and then you got your tight ends coming off the edge. The back makes a good read and just hits it. And again, he's not touched till he's 8 yards downfield, and there's another 11-yard carry. So that's something that I think has got to be really encouraging to see. Is this play that, like I said, even with opponent, they weren't running it this well against South Carolina State, who's a middle of the road 1AA team. And I'd say middle of the road might be generous, but here this is like picture perfect. So this is a fun one. I'm not sure exactly what supposed to happen, but it looks like a great throw to a corner route and a really great catch.
We were thinking that he might not have been the intended receiver on this at one point, did we not?
He confirmed after the game that he was not.
Mitchell said he was not the intended receiver. He said that no one carried him up the field, so he just ran toward open grass.
I thought he was going to try to fit it right here. Is what in the press box. This is what I was thinking. I'm like, you could fit that. Oh Lord, I got a square or something here. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. I don't know what that is. But in this area, let's do just one line. If you could fit the ball right in there is what I thought was going to happen. And then once he kind of held it for a little bit longer, I thought it was over. Both guys ended up winning.
Jeez, he unloaded on that too. Stepped up.
Is that St. Felix?
That looks like St. Felix.
Yes, it is.
He ended up. So that's another thing. He ended up smoking this corner. He's up top there, kind of like a hitch and go, and he ended up just killing him. But great play.
Was that supposed to be why Seam and Mitch just looked back for the ball and went, "Oh crap, I better go get underneath it"?
Yeah. So basically,
he said nobody carried him.
No one carried him, so he just ran to the open part of the field.
That's awesome. Jennings got whipped there too, and so Jordan took a hit.
That could have been real bad. If they collided or anything, it looked like. Randall St. Felix saw big man coming and said, "Okay, go get it, big guy."
Yeah.
Nice touchdown, not what you drew it up, but we'll take it.
But great catch, and it might have been not a bad throw to St. Felix. See, he pulls up a little bit. He might have been able to dive for that one. But yeah, that's a big play. I don't know if he really would have been able to, but we'll say he might have been able to dive for it. But big play, and that kind of gets you back in the game. And again, that's off that drive where it's kind of, the confidence grows a little bit, right? It's off that drive where you hold him to a field goal. There was a very
Look how far his legs are apart. Sorry, I
Right
won't
here.
talk over you again.
No,
Cut
you're
this out.
good.
But look at his drop back, and he like sees something, and then he just, I mean, look at the follow through here.
Yeah.
Guys, his legs are like crap. I don't know. Look at that.
Is that a guy who's hurt trying to get comfortable? I don't know.
I
There's
don't
no way
think-
that kid's healthy.
Follow through.
There's no
No,
way
I-
that kid's healthy.
I
No
don't
chance.
think he is. Well, what's funny is Nate asked right after the game is, why is he wearing the glove? Or no, somebody asked why is he wearing the glove. I think it was I don't know, whoever. Somebody asked him why is he wearing the glove, and Charlie was like, oh, he's he just it's like a fashion thing. And then as soon as McLeod comes out, somebody asks him about it. He goes, oh yeah, my hands hurt. Like immediately.
He's trying to look like Teddy Bridgewater, and then
You got a good laugh, but
I think
immediately
the
he
very
comes in.
first question, it was like, oh yeah, it's just I couldn't really grip the ball this week, so I felt like the glove was my best option, and then I got a stinger on the second or third drive.
Yeah, so
We got a kid getting stingers that can't grip a football that's playing starting quarterback as a true or redshirt freshman right now. Like, that's not good, man. This is not. I feel terrible for this kid.
Still was able
like,
to-
I think if Brian had a dart gun, he probably would have shot it into Jordan's neck if he could.
he doesn't know what he's talking about. All right, so I think
Sorry,
this
our
is
starting stop telling the truth, starting quarterback.
yeah, he's not media savvy yet. He'll stop doing that soon. So here, so this is the final touchdown drive. I know you kind of, everyone kind of wanted to see this. This is the all run play drive. So
I got this pulled up. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So just so we can explain the situation. So it's 23-21. They just missed a field goal from 39 yards that gave like USF. So it was yet another break that USF needed because they got the unforced turnover with the muffed punt, and now they got like basically a second turnover with the field goal here. And the three of us were sitting together in the box, and I think I showed a tweet to both of you before I said it. And I said, we all agree with this, right? Run the football. Like
Yes.
just the way that USF had been running the ball, the time and score situation, fourth quarter, if you're going to wear them down, you've worn them down, take advantage of it. And we said run the football. I didn't think we were thinking they were going to run the ball 9 times and put it in the end zone like that easily, but we were all saying in this spot, you have to run the football. So BYU, I'm going to think, probably knows that too, and that makes it even tougher. So,
And Seth, this is the tight front that you're referring to?
yeah, this is kind of the in vogue front where they'll play guys on the inside shade of the tackle. This is what gives them problems though, because they play it and then these guys all play
space.
off. Yeah, what you'll see, it's funny. You'll see teams that are really good at it. Like they're not. I just don't know if they're just not very good at it. But like Iowa State will play with this. You'll see times where Iowa State's playing and like there's 3 receivers over here and he's out, and the box is just 3 guys and then 1 linebacker, and they still crush the run game because these guys are really good at just flying upfield and killing anything outside. Because you're thinking I can just get outside, but those guys for Iowa State are really good at that, and they got good linebackers.
So is this why you started to see a lot of counter, a lot of power, just to kind of slow those outside guys down just a little bit, and
I
then
think
you saw
so.
the gashing?
And then I think what they did a good job, and I think Charlie talked about it after the game, is by putting a slot over here, they knew that he'd have to widen out. So if there was no slot there, it's just a tight end, this defender would probably be lined up right here on the ball, like how he's a little bit tighter here. So by formation, they get him displaced. So just doing that formation and knowing that if they come out in this 3 front, now they switch. I think in this drive they even switched to the four down. But the stuff they're running is good against pretty much whatever. If you have numbers in the box, which they still do. So here I think they just pull the guard. So I think everybody's down and they just pull the guard. So right here, so they arc him here. And then this guard's going to pull. And then everybody else is kind of down. Get a good double on the nose. He ends up taking the 4-eye down here. So 4-eye, they take the 4-eye. Right here, you got a double on the nose, and your guard's pulling around for probably him. And then as he arcs, you may even get influenced to widen him out too. So the arc kind of may serve two purposes. But one thing that the backs did a really good job of is just running hard and getting vertical. The big run by Cronkite later is him just getting vertical quickly. So this is a scheme you'll see a few times here. Just pulling the guard and just taking advantage of the front. So here, same thing. And this is just a really good run.
Same play, just bounced it out. Yeah.
Yep. But it's the same exact play. If they're going to give you the look, because right here the look would be, he's going to be on there and he's coming for there. He's actually getting off for him, so now you really got everybody blocked. This is one where they do a pretty good job of kind of muddling it up a little bit, but then your back does a really good job. This is why, he's running. He looks like a totally different dude than he did early in that South Carolina State game. I don't know what it is, if it's just comfort or what, but he looked unbelievable on Saturday.
Is there anything you can do there to get that corner, the BYU corner, not the one that bails, but the one that steps in here, to maybe get him, since the wide receivers know this is can they pick up a block there to sort of get in the way or just sort of annoy at some point? Because the ball's already handed off here, and you can see
I think
the guy who ends up making the tackle. The guy who ends up making the tackle here is just standing parallel to the line.
I'd imagine it's probably supposed to be something like that, but they play. I think he plays like a trap coverage almost, or a hard 2 or something, where he just flies up and plays a flat really hard, and they both kind of at that point it kind of maybe run by him. I don't know if he thought he was going to get manned, so they ran him off. But yeah, you'd want to block. I don't think they want to leave that guy on block unless you're running some type of RPO thing, which they're not here.
Yeah, see, because if they pick up that block on the outside, look at the room that Jordan's got there to take that thing, for a while.
So that's one. I'm sure that's what they'd want them to. They look like they're running off.
Those two receivers are Eddie McDoom and Bryce Miller, both not really known for their blocking, so it could be something like if don't try or don't do it because you may mess it up and then ruin the play.
And with what's being run down here is like a hitch. So they may have packaged this play up to where these guys are running verticals. So maybe if it is like straight man, you can take a shot. Because here he's running a hitch backside. This is something where if the corner was off, and he's tucked inside, you could just throw the hitch out there. They call it free access. So if they give you the free yards, take it. So this could be packaged up here as verticals. But if it's not, come up and block that guy. And then you've really got everybody. If he's eliminated, you got him going to the safety. You're going to be one-on-one with him. And the way he's running Saturday, he probably outruns that guy. So,
for sure.
But still, first down. We come back. We get this one late, but I think it's the same play just coming from the other side.
I love this, by the way. Running the same play 3 times in a row, 4 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards. Not getting too cute, not thinking too much. Just run your stuff. I love it.
Actually, I think this play might be, and now that I kind of see it again, I think this might just be a zone. So again, your center, they talk this is going to be the tough matchup, but you kind of stalemate that guy. You got a double team right here. I believe this is your tight end right here. And now the guard's getting up to the second level. You get both guards up, so you get an interesting twist. Both these guards get up and just demolish this guy. And Sands was running really, really hard. Since he's been back, he's run really hard. And I think he's kind of helped provide a little bit of spark in the run game, too. Now here's coming back to the guard pulling.
Nice, easy 7 yards.
Yep. It's just they kept giving that box, and now they finally go to the forefront. So I think they hadn't quite switched to it yet. So now they get back to okay, we're going to the forefront. They still have him way outside, but he's probably a force player. He'll come up and play force. But this is where they start running a little bit of the counter stuff. So you're going to see guard, and H-back counter. He kind of ends up taking outside. I don't know if they want him inside that, but that's kind of how it ends up happening just because of the way it's blocked up. But the guard will come kick here. And this is the one, I think this is the one he creases, but this is just great. This is good vision and just hitting the hole. So he could have kind of followed the block outside, but he sees his crease open up. And then this is really good right here by these two guys. And I know Kerwin gave him a lot of praise last week, but there's the kind of the double team, and then he gets off to him. And that's what springs the run here is this block. These two guys on the double team. Guard does a good job kind of kicking him out. You may want to bring him inside of that, but he's kind of reading the block of the guard sometimes. So if the guard kind of logs the guy, he can get outside. But it's a great read by the back. Yeah.
I was going to say, so watch this linebacker. Watch what Mathis does. He sort of almost distracts the linebacker as a blocker, and then I think Kronk just sort of reads off of him. Like Mathis doesn't hit anybody, but he kind of almost blocks the guy. It's weird.
I think what he's thinking is now. I think he's probably sometimes when you got the double pullers, you'll kind of read this block. Here, I think they probably want him inside too. But he goes outside. I don't know if that's how they want it or not, but he goes outside. So you have him for him, and then you have this there. So there is a seam right here because you got a great double team right here. You can see this guy's like on 1 foot. He's been totally taken out of the play. Really good blocks on this side, kind of just keeping that no penetration or anything. And then the back does a good job of just, instead, he could have bounced it and followed him and had him as his lead blocker. But he saw that crease with this guy coming from the double team, again on poor number 25.
And then does a really inside shoulder. Yeah.
And then does a really good
one-on-one with the safety, and he makes him beat the safety.
Yeah, that's how you get big plays in the run game. If you can beat the safety in a one-on-one, you can get a big play.
Oh, there it is.
So then we're down on the 15 here. And then again counter, and again he just cuts it back inside. This might be Sands again. But again, counter. Kicking, wrapping. The back sees a seam inside. And this is a pretty good job right here. Because depending on how this guy plays, his rule is down. This guy ends up playing across his face, and he takes him, and the guard adjusts out for him. It very easily could have been here, and the guard would have been kicking out this defensive end. So this is another thing that's encouraging. You see them kind of adjusting on the fly here. The end crosses his face, so he takes him. The guard is just got last man on the line of scrimmage or end man on the line of scrimmage, so he sees that guy. He's not worried about him coming inside. He's like, this is my rule right here. So he goes and he takes him. And he, gets some movement there. 41 tried to come and take it on, but.
Is that a call with the line that they would have adjusted?
That's kind of a thing that you have your rules. And, that's your rule. So his rule may be first thing outside the tackle or something like that. So if this guy comes and the tackle's rule is down. So if he crosses your face as you're going down, you take him, and then I'm just kicking out the end man. So that's just kind of, once you get more comfortable with it and you understand what your rules are, a lot of things up front are rule-based. If you have rules, it's easy to make adjustments because I just have to follow my rules. I don't have to worry so much about every single front. I can kind of just follow if this is what I have to my side, this is my rule. So, but that's something that comes with being more comfortable with the scheme, which I think is kind of what's happening. All right, so second down and 5 from the 10 here. So this is kind of I think this is similar to the play they ran for McLeod's touchdown earlier. It's a toss. It could be toss. I'm inclined to think it's a toss read. The way they're blocking it here, they're down, down, down. He's pulling for him. they block him. So I'm not exactly sure if this is a read or if this is just called. But this could be, they could read the second level guy, so that they might possibly be reading him. But typically on this toss read, you'll kind of read him. They'll arc him for the second level. You'll read him. It's basically another way to run power, but instead of blocking the guy on power, I'm going to read the guy on power. But it's the same idea.
And for everybody at home, just explain reading, why basically you leave a guy unblocked, and the theory is that no matter what he does, he's always wrong.
Yeah. So we kind of discussed power earlier, but this is kind of power where everyone's down, down, down. I'm kicking with usually a fullback. I'm kicking out the end, and everyone else is down, and then I'm pulling the backside guard up for the backer. What teams have done, and this became popular with Clemson when they had Deshaun Watson, is instead of blocking this guy, so instead of blocking him, everybody else is still down, down, down. So for the line, it's still power, gap seal hinge, pull. So for all the linemen, they're running power instead of kicking this guy. So maybe he's a stud, or maybe I don't have a fullback, or just to mess with him and give him problems, I'll leave that guy. And so now he'll be a toss player, and now he becomes the inside runner, the power player. So if he leaves for the toss, you got a guy leading up for the quarterback inside with no edge player. If he stays inside, now you got the toss, and you have numbers to the toss. Because I really didn't have to block him, I just read him, which you'll see a ton of that this weekend against Navy, where they're not blocking people, they're reading them, and that gives you a big advantage in the numbers game. So, but what they do here is they actually block this end. Now, I don't know if that's a mistake or if that's what they're doing, because you could also read him. If he doesn't fly to the toss, if he kind of just stays here, well, now he's outflanked, and he'll never beat this guy, because this is Joyner. He's your speed back. He's not going to beat him to the sideline. So you have a blocker here, a blocker here. He's held by the play fake. And now you have numbers. He just got to beat this guy to the end zone. If he flies to the toss, well, now your guard is really pulling for the safety. So you have everybody blocked. So you could read it at the second level. I think here it could just be a design call for the toss, but they could read that in the past they've read this guy. I think in the spring game they read this guy. So you could see it both ways later on. But right here they just run the toss, and if this guy, if we get a block there, you got the edge. You kind of lose a little bit here, but he'd outrun that. So if you get that blocked, he does a good job kind of turning his guy inside. This one might score, but you kind of miss that block on the interior there, or miss his block for the inside receiver rather.
Is that Matt? Let me see. Yeah, it's Mathis who just, if Mathis holds his guy, it might go.
Yeah, he loses him, but I think if this guy, I think he got enough of him. I think he'll beat him to the edge. So it's more, I think, this one, and this forces him back into that guy. Not the greatest block by Mathis, but I think
that was Phillips.
He got enough of him here that Phillips losing his guy right there is kind of what kills the play.
Okay.
But Mathis is not a great block by him, but I think with the speed of Joyner, that may have been enough, even with not having a great block there. So now they come back to counter, 3rd and 5, really big play right here. Come back to the counter. Not blocked up particularly well. I mean, up inside it's blocked perfect. Right here, they're kind of, this is where I think you want him kicking this guy and then him wrapping in there is what a lot of teams will do typically. So this may be something that they're still getting comfortable with. Right here, if he kicks him out and he wraps, there's a big seam right there. Now maybe they want it to hit outside. I don't know. It just seems like that's kind of the issue right here. If he kicks him and he just sticks his foot in the ground, he's up inside. Well, now there's a big seam to the end zone. But a great run by the back.
Good sidestep there to break a tackle.
Really good play by him. And that's what.
With this entire drive, we've seen Mathis on the field Not the entire drive, but for the last 3 plays on this drive, it's been Mathis instead of Wilcox.
Well, Wilcox, they
Mathis
went back,
with Wilcox. Wilcox. And
on
Mathis
this play,
hasn't.
they went back to him.
They went back to 12, yeah. And Mathis, I don't think he's like 0 for 3. Because I'm guessing he steps and then like he's step inside, get that guy, and then
that's what I think the design is. But
Yeah,
this is
just clogging the hole.
Yeah. But I think the design is kick, and then he's wrapping in here, and I just kind of follow him up there, and then that's just money. But he's kind of he didn't play much at the beginning of the year, so he's kind of getting his feet under him still. But he's done more good than bad, so I'm sure he'll keep getting a lot of opportunities. And then just a great run by the back, and sometimes you need that. So then here is first down after the conversion. You convert third downs, good things tend to happen. And this is just simple power again. And it's pretty good up front. And then the back does a great job of just putting his head down and getting in. So down, 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 kicking, and pulling here. And then the back just kind of, tight end does a pretty good job with a big guy right here. Wilcox does. He gets off a little bit, but you have this extra puller coming for him, and he just runs through the guy, and the back follows him into the end zone. So you take the lead on power inside the goal line, which is pretty nice.
Look at these linebackers for BYU. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they that late to react here? Are they? Is it me, or look, the 2 guys in the box just look like, the one steps up here at the mesh, but the second guy is bailing here. Like, what is he doing?
I think they're so. I think part of it is they've done a good job of getting him the ball in the red zone. So I think they're concerned with him, and they've done it off play action too. So that might hold having this great tight end. And then this guy's showing some stuff too. Having those guys might maybe hold these guys a little bit. Now, should it? I don't know. But that may be a pause, especially on this side. He kind of gets there, but they're not great at linebacker either. That's kind of one of the reasons people are running on them. But this is good. You can see this whole side just get collapsed down. The right guard gets all the way back to here. And then he's looking for more right there.
27's just standing there for a good portion of it until Kronk gets to the goal line.
They could be like tired of getting, this is play 9. That could be part of it too. Like, okay.
Like he's just standing there under the L up pretty much until it's too late. He
he tries to get in there late. But they got to feel, because they do so much play action and they do a lot of stuff with the tight ends, that these guys kind of got to make sure they're not getting anything, and then the next play you'll see they kind of get them by using motion, but just powering in the goal, powering in the end zone there. And then here's the 2-point play. I put it on just because it is a design pick, but his rule is he's taught to get to his outside hip and then get vertical. So he doesn't initiate contact, and then he runs the corner out. So he won't ever initiate. He shouldn't ever initiate contact. You get within like a yard or 2 of this guy's inside hip, and then you get vertical, and he runs into you. Is what the idea is. They're going to motion him across, and then bring him back underneath, and that kind of frees him up with the play action here. And you'll see they never actually make contact here. The guy actually runs over the top of him. This is all you're trying to do.
Come on.
You're not even trying with this. You're not even trying to get this guy picked. If you make him run over the top, it's over. That's all you're trying to do. You don't have to pick him, and that's what he does. You can see actually he doesn't actually touch him. Watch, he'll get him right here. He'll get free without touching him, and he's just running his corner out. He's gotten vertical, so this is a really bad call.
12 is beat like a drum, and they just don't. Oh, that's terrible. This is so bad. They fooled the refs.
I pulled this one out just because I like the. This is a good good design with the motion to get that guy coming all the way back across, especially after you run that counter. They run counter so much that when this guy sees that guy pull, he's going to step up. And then right here, he just slips him wide open. So cool little design. So these are the last two plays I got here, and I know we've been going for a while, but I think this is an interesting kind of wrinkle. So this is 2nd and 10. This is the play before Greer's sack to kind of finish the game off. So they show this pressure here. We'll kind of look at how they do it. So they're kind of bringing in here. I'm sorry, he's coming outside, isn't it? And then so he's coming through here, he's coming in here, and then he's going to kind of wrap back inside, right? That's kind of the key part here, is he kind of wraps back inside. You guys see that?
Run that back.
So he's going to come through here. He's going to come through, and this is Greer, I think, right here. And he's going to kind of wrap back inside on this blitz here.
So
this is 2nd down. So he kind of wraps back inside.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah. And then
he wraps back
they were
inside.
just trying.
Incomplete.
Is it because of the pressure though? I mean, it looks like he didn't even think about going anywhere else with football. Like this is just we're going to throw a fade here and try and take advantage of a matchup.
I think he may have looked kind of maybe try to hit one of these in here and saw the safety maybe, and then just decided I'll throw the fade, or he might have just predetermined it and just wanted to hold the safety and throw it. But Sales does a good job here on the fade. And this is pretty good job technically. He kind of knows where he's at, so you don't see him like face up here and turn and run. He actually the whole time has kept his eyes to the quarterback and then squeezed. This is kind of like a master class right here, and a really good job coaching this. He squeezes this route without even turning his eyes away from the quarterback all the way to the sideline. So if you watch him here, kind of watch him, he never actually takes his eyes off the quarterback. But he slowly just squeezes that guy to the sidelines to where right here he's basically squeezed him out of bounds. And he didn't have to worry about where the ball was. He watched it the entire time. So that's really good by him. So that may be not where you want to go if you were trying to throw a fade. So last play, right? Brought him up inside, he's inside, and he wraps, right? That was the last play, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So they show the exact same look. They bring him inside. He walks up, they bring him inside, and all they do this time, the tackle thinks they're going to wrap him again. They just bring him off the edge. Tackle steps down for that because he's waiting for him to wrap, and he just comes clean.
Oh, yeah, untouched.
So that's just kind of like a little game within the game right there. You see him, he steps in here to help, and now he's looking inside for the guy wrapping. And then he just comes right off the edge.
He didn't even see him. Didn't even see him go by him.
So I think it's 67 who gets B here because it's 6-on-6. So theoretically, they can put a hat on a hat here.
Yeah,
because we bring 6 and they got 6.
They bring in here in the back. They have the back step up in the middle.
Right, and then 67 just got the wrong dude.
Nobody sees him.
But I think this is kind of because of the design on the previous play. They showed the exact same look. He did the exact same thing, and he looped in. So he's kind of looking for it, and then it's just like, well, we'll just bring him off the edge. And even if he would have just tried to adjust back out, this guy's pretty fast and pretty explosive. It's probably too late. And then just a great job getting the quarterback. And then we have the 10-second runoff there, so it's the last play of the game. So I thought that was interesting that the scheme was almost exactly the same, just kind of one tweak, and that tweak got that guy pretty much free to the quarterback.
Great speed from Antonio Greer, too.
Yeah, he's explosive, huh? He's coming off that edge like crazy.
It just blows my mind away that the tackle, the guard, nobody sees him. Not even the quarterback.
Well, I think that, and it could be something where, and it could even be, I mean, we're kind of going on now, but it could be where it's a full slide because of this pressure, but the back has to step up because of him. So
Does
it could
having
be it
I
could
was
be
gonna say,
something
I'm
where they
sorry.
want to full slide it, but
Does Romney being in here as basically the third string quarterback, is this something that maybe he should have seen? Like he could have made some I mean, I understand the previous play. Like, is there some
yeah.
sort of adjustment or block call or adjustment that they could call and check at the line? You know,
I mean,
is this a
I
spot for a fan
maybe
call?
maybe you want to slide him this way with the
Right.
back, work on that back that way. So you'd have him here, and then they're kind of these three are working for these three, maybe, but it's still, um, they you're still kind of he's slanting across your he would have been slanting across your face, so it's tough. They probably wanted to maybe they thought they were going to get field pressure here, so they put the protection to the field, but USF probably anticipated that and brought it from the boundary because also I know that I can just lock this up backside on the boundary and not worry about it. So
How
it's a
big
cool
has
little
KJ
tweak.
Sales been this year?
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. He's probably gonna be playing uh, on Sundays next year, I would imagine. So I think that's the last one I have. We've probably gone long already, so
Yeah,
it's up to
if you're
you.
still watching, you're a diehard. Yeah, that was really fun. It's nice to see, that is a definite improvement in line play. And the reason that I thought BYU would probably win by a little bit was they were just so physically, like on paper, looked bigger up front. But USF did a real nice job. Um, I didn't know that they had that in them, but maybe you're right, Seth. Maybe you are good at this football thing, and this team is actually getting better at offensive line play because that looked really, really that 9-play drive was super duper impressive.
Yeah, I think they're improving. And just I think the one for me that really sold it was just that those outside zone plays, how much cleaner they look from earlier in the year, and that's like I said before, that is not easy to learn. That takes time. So some of the stuff just took time, and hopefully they got it figured out. I think this week will probably be, and I said on the pod, this is probably their biggest test since Wisconsin on paper, at least statistically. But if they can pull out a win this game, I think that really kind of will say something about where they're headed. That I think if they win this game, I think you're probably looking at a bowl game, I would imagine. Um, but this is going to be a
Real
tough one.
quick, USF has played a triple option team every year since 2015, I believe. Is that correct? I think so. So these players understand triple, what it does, how it's different. Real quick, what do you see? And if you're a coach coaching against this, both offensively and defensively, because Navy, certainly quicker but not as big matchup wise. What do you do when you're a defense and you got to go out there and you're going to get cut left, right, center, and they're going to read you and they're going to run the same stuff over and over and over again?
I think the one thing you can't do, I mean, there's a lot of ways to play option. Everybody kind of has their own way to do it. But however you want to play it, I think the one thing you can't do is just show the same look over and over and over again. Because these guys are so good, option coaches are so good at understanding how you're trying to defend them that if you keep doing it the same way, they're going to have a counter. These things are kind of the flex bone and the triple option are kind of like a working if then statement offense. A lot of times it's okay, we're going to start with this, whatever our base play, it could be inside veer, it could be trap, or whatever. It could be outside veer, whatever the base play is. And then some of these guys have it sequenced up so well that they're like, okay, this is my base play. They're stopping it. How are they stopping it? All right, well, they're stopping it with this kind of, slant. All right, well, this is what I do if they're stopping it with that kind of slant. So if you keep showing them the same look, they're going to figure it out, and then they're just going to gash you with, and they're not afraid to run the same play over and over and over again. So I think the one thing you can't do is just give them the same look all game. I don't think they will. Just kind of I just went back and looked on the pod, just kind of watched a little of Georgia Tech last year, just because Nate brought it up, and it just kind of I didn't even thought about it. They've played a similar front, but then they did a lot of different stuff post snap to try to confuse. They slanted, they did all kinds of other stuff. So that's what I would be. That's what I think they're going to do. They may show us similar looks pre snap. Maybe they'll show them different ones, but then you get worried about being misaligned and that kind of stuff. But I think you can't show them the same look. If you do that, you're in trouble.
USF has had a lot of success with bear fronts against triple teams. That seems to be what has worked. That worked really well against Navy in 2017 at home. Or was that? No, it was 16. Whatever the home game was. 16, I think.
Yeah, it was 16. Because 15 was the loss in Annapolis.
The loss in Annapolis, yeah. So they had real good success with bear fronts there. They did a little bit of it last year with Georgia Tech. That seems to be something that has worked, just try and impose your will physically, get in a gap and try and blow somebody up. But we'll see, because you think you got it and then you don't got it. And then you'll get 2 3-and-outs and then they'll gash you for 4 straight series where they're putting it in the end zone. It's just the yin and yang of triple. And
they're so good at identifying, and it may not be right away, but they're so good at identifying, because it's so hard to stop. They've seen a lot of different things thrown at them, so they're so good at getting that identified, and especially because this staff has been together probably for quite a long time, most of these guys, and they've been running this offense for a long time, so they understand what people have done in the past to stop it and how they can adjust. So if you just continue to do one thing to stop it, you're going to be in trouble. So I would anticipate USF showing them a lot of different stuff on Saturday. Maybe not before the play. It may look the same. It may look like if they're going to do bear front, it may look like bear front. But then maybe they're slanting to something, or they're changing. They're trying to change up who the read key is and that kind of stuff, just to try to slow them down a little bit. Because like I said, I think if you show them the same thing over and over again, they're going to gash you.
If you want to see a clinic in how to stop triple, 2016 USF versus Navy, really impressive, the best. And that was a team that defensively should have been a lot better, but that night they really showed up and they played fantastic. All right, we're done.
For the first half.
I think, for the first day. The second half, it was already over. They're marching down the field they almost covered. MatrixHormones.com. Thank you so much for letting us do this. 813-333-2226. Again, that's 813-333-2226. We appreciate all that they do for us and to bring you this film room and our podcast and everything else that they have done for us here at the Illuminati Podcast and at the TDS Film Room. Seth, this was awesome. Nice to do it for a win against a good team. That was way more fun.
Yes,
let's hope you're right and that Coach Darvo and Coach Bell can get this thing going and this defense can continue to improve as well. Really did a great job in that red zone stop there at the end of the game too. All right, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.